I'm not gonna lie, this one's gonna be a little silly. Hello, my name is Matt and welcome to My Hidden Nerdy Side, a channel created by a nerd who doesn't have many nerdy friends and so I must rant to you, and today we're gonna tackle the classic Under the Bridge bruiser, the Troll. We're going to take a look at their lore, info, and abilities and then build an encounter you can steal, modify, and plop directly into your D&D games. Now, in traditional D&D 5e lore, trolls are less chill by the river and answer our riddles 3 type of fellas, and more pay me or I'll eat you. However, despite their lack of in-depth and complex lore, they do have an interesting ability and variant set of rules that can lead to some insanely entertaining encounters. And so, that's the goal for this encounter, to make a little side quest that's just ridiculously wacky and memorable. No deeper meaning or sneaky DM motivation, just good old-fashioned nonsensical fun. Now, if you are well aware of the lore and mechanics behind trolls, then feel free to pop on over to the timestamp right here so you can jump straight to the encounter itself. I'll leave a clickable version in the description below. Alright, let's take a look at trolls. The troll lore, info, abilities, and so on will be pulled directly from page 291 of the Monster Manual. So looking at the Monster Manual, trolls are big, beefy boys that are born with incredible appetites, making them prone to eating their enemies rather than taking hostages. They have no real society to speak of and usually serve as mercenaries for other creatures, such as orcs, hags, and giants. Despite this, even when working with monsters more powerful than they aren't particularly loyal and do whatever they want, especially if there's a good chunk of treasure or food being offered as payment. Trolls have freakishly good regenerative abilities, growing back severed limbs, and those severed limbs can even take on lives of their own. And because of this incredible regenerative ability, trolls are heavily prone to mutation. Even though it's rare, it's not absurd for a troll to grow back multiple limbs, gain a special trait from a creature it's eaten, or even have an extra head or two spawn from the stump of its neck after it's been decapitated. As far as the Monster Manual goes, that does it for lore, and their stat block isn't the most rich either. Trolls do have keen smell and make 3 attacks per turn, 1 with their bite and 2 with their claws. However, their regeneration ability and variant set of rules can make encounters range from terrifying to beautifully absurd. If a troll doesn't take acid or fire damage in a given round of combat, it regenerates, regaining 10 hit points at the start of its turn. A troll can only die if it starts its turn with 0 hit points and can't regenerate, meaning you need fire or acid to kill these things permanently, which can lead to some confusing encounters for players unable to deduce this. Now, there's also a variant set of rules called Loathsome Limbs, which we'll be using in this encounter. It gives trolls the ability to control their severed limbs. The full rule set can be found on page 291 of the Monster Manual, or you could just Google it, but I'll list the main points here. If a troll takes 15 slashing damage, the DM rolls a d20 to determine what happens. From 1 to 10, nothing happens. From 11 to 14, one of the troll's legs is cut off. From 15 to 18, an arm is cut off, and on a 19 or 20, its head is cut off. A severed body part has an AC of 13, 10 HP, and has the troll's regeneration trait. Severed legs can only move 5 feet, severed arms can move 5 feet and make a claw attack, and a severed head can't move, but it can use its keen smell trait and make a bite attack. There are a few other smaller things, but that's the gist of it. However, we're going to tweak these rules a bit for our encounter today. We're going to allow severed legs to make claw attacks using their big toenails, and boost the movement speed of both the legs and arms to 15 feet. Just to add a little pep in their step and make this little side quest even nuttier than it's already going to be. And so, with all that, let's start crafting an encounter. This encounter will be aimed at parties level 7 to 11 depending on how difficult you want to make it, and last roughly 1 to 2 sessions depending on how much you want to stretch it out. The party's motivation should always be tailored to the campaign, but since this encounter is just supposed to be a funny little side quest or a one-shot idea, the motivation doesn't have to be terribly in-depth. So we'll just say there's a chance for an interesting item or big payout for the party upon completion. So your party will be traveling on the road and eventually will come across a bridge stretching over a small river. They will see a troll standing over a dead body and holding a small pouch of some kind. Seeing the party advancing, the troll will quickly tie the small pouch to his wrist, cut off the arm the pouch is attached to using his own claws, and then football throw the arm down the river. Whether or not your party goes after the troll is up to them, but upon looking at the body, they'll find a note. This note indicates the man murdered by the troll was a messenger carrying a small pouch which contained a powerful trinket inside worth a lot of coin. This can lead to your party either wanting to find the trinket and use it for themselves, sell the trinket for coin, or possibly even complete the delivery for the reward money in good standing. Regardless of why your party wants to go on this quest, they will notice the troll through the arm down the rushing river and will have to go looking for it. Heading down the river, they will notice there is a troll camp 30 minutes downstream with a collection of trolls wandering about. With proper investigations, they can discover the trolls picked up the severed limb with the pouch tied around it. Now, how your party goes about retrieving the pouch is up to them, but if it comes to combat, here is how we use the troll's interesting set of abilities to make the combat fun and engaging. In order to do this, we're going to lay a few traps and other mechanisms that require actions to trigger throughout the troll camp. These can be whatever you want, but I'll spout off a few ideas off the top of my head. First, how about we rig up a 10x10 bottomless cage in the trees that comes falling down and traps a player inside if they fail a DC 16 dex save. Secondly, let's add a pile of miniature bombs that deal 3d6 fire damage in a 15-foot radius, which can be halved with another DC 16 dex save. And lastly, let's add a series of miniature catapults around the area. I'm talking no bigger than a few feet. What will they accomplish? Oh, you'll see in just a sec. Alright, let's say there are 4 adult trolls in this camp and 6 troll children. We'll say the troll children deal half the damage adults do and also have half the health. During the first round of combat, things will go as normal. However, at the start of the second round of combat, one of the adult trolls will yell at the troll children to give them a hand and then run and hide. This will prompt the 6 troll children to cut off their own arms and then run and hide, following the adult troll's command in the most literal way possible. These troll limbs will be the ones running around the camp and setting off all the traps, giving your party a side objective during combat. Stop the troll hands before they can set off all the traps. Imagine your party's fighter trying to snipe an animated troll hand with a bow, missing, and then being trapped in a cage that falls out of the sky. Imagine your spellcaster standing in a circle near the edge of camp and then a couple of troll hands start lobbing bombs at them. Imagine these troll hands hopping on miniature catapults and launching themselves at your players and attempting to palm their face in order to blind your players until they successfully remove them. I mean, that's just good fun. And it's not just the troll children limbs that they'll have to worry about, because every limb they chop off the adults as well will also attempt to trigger the many traps you have spread throughout the camp. This encounter is wacky, nonsensical, and totally ridiculous, but it can also lead to an enormous amount of fun and is truly engaging due to the side objective of dealing with the animated body parts. Now, despite this encounter already being very spicy, it is possible to spice it up even further. You could of course craft even more ridiculous traps. For example, what if there were a series of magic wands throughout the camp, and each troll arm made its way over to one and started casting everything from hold person to fireball? Another way to spice it up is to create a mutant troll, which isn't that far-fetched since they are prone to mutation. What if you created a mega troll with 8 mutated arms to create a fearsome foe and a loathsome limb factory? And finally, well, if the children escape and your party really gets a kick out of this encounter, you can always have the children gather a loathsome limb army and come back for round 2 later on in your campaign. But of course, these are just some of the many ways you can use trolls in your D&D campaigns. There are tons of different ways to take this encounter and spice it up, so please, let me know what you would do in the comment section below so I can nerd out over it and smack myself on the head for not thinking of it. Also, let me know if there are any creatures that you would like me to build an encounter for in my future videos. I'm going to try and put out at least one of these videos a week, so feel free to subscribe and share this video around if you liked it, and stay tuned for upcoming content. Thanks for watching and indulging my hidden nerdy side.